This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas, the South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now.
Football contest sign-up season is here, and you don't want to miss out on the action. With millions of dollars on the line each and every week in the world's biggest football contest, there's only one proxy to trust, footballcontest.com. Maddie and Tony have set the gold standard for football contest proxy services with 20 years of experience and over 13 million in winnings for their clients. All you have to do is get to Vegas between now and the start of football season to sign up in person, and they do the rest, making sure your picks are entered every week. Whether you want to play in the Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, Super Contest Gold, or the new Super Contest College Contest, Maddie and Tony have you covered. Their new website has everything you need to know about these football contests and more, including how you can reserve the best proxy in the business. Experience matters, so go with the pros at footballcontest.com, the gold standard proxy service.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books, 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza. Plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the race book. Over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book. Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
We don't make stuff up here.
I would only play the Pirates team total going under.
What the hell happened to Minnesota's pitching?
This total is really crashed without plumbing the lineup.
I think this number's too high, but they're laying me the 6.
Oh, I know.
Caitlin Clark drives handle on the WNBA.
Never mind all these Mickey Mouse other stations. We are giving you hands-on information.
It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles and Alex White.
Good morning. Welcome in at Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White. Ryan, you can give me the one shot real quick because Alex has shrunk in her chair as the show has begun. There we go. See, we haven't had that in a while. That would happen a lot in our old digs with the old chairs where there was an infamous one where the previous tenant of that studio upstairs, one of the hosts, legitimately mid-segment, just woo. one of the more funny clips from the previous tenant up there. But that's the first time I've seen that in this chair. These chairs have been really good to us.
Yes, they have.
Over the last year and a half now. She's Alex White. I'm Jeff Parles. Happy to be with you here this morning. We're going to be talking college football half past the hour. Colby Dant, SGPN, the college experience. He and Ryan McIntyre, Moneyline Mac, do an incredible job, very thorough with everything college sports. We're talking week 1, macro with Colby Dant at 10:30. But, Alex, we got to get into it because we got 3 baseball games that are starting right away to begin your Wednesday afternoon in Major League Baseball, and we begin in the Bronx in Yankee Stadium. Bombers and Nats. Fried and Cavelli, your pitching matchup. Cavelli has pitched pretty darn well since coming up to the major leagues. Yankees doing what they're supposed to do in the first two games of this series, have taken the first two to cover the run line with ease in both games. Their best pitcher, even though he has not been at his best over the last month, Max Fried on the bump here this afternoon at Yankee Stadium. Minus 260 here at the South Point, a total of 8.5 on this one.
I'll be quick with this one because I really don't have anything. You're right about Cavelli. He's been awesome for this team. And then Max Fried, he's coming off of his best start since the blister, and then coming back from that, he really struggled. And then he saw Boston and went 6 scoreless, 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, and 3 walks. So I'm not really sure if he's completely back yet. I'm not going to jump in or pay that price to find out. Lean that way. I think the Yankees finish off the series here, but nothing strong here in this one.
Yeah, no play for me. I think everything's about right. Yankees should be a ginormous favorite here today, going for the sweep over the Nats. And again, for the Yankees, this was a 6-game stretch after getting beat up by Boston. They salvaged the final game of the 4-game series, but 3 against Washington, 3 against the White Sox. Got to take advantage before a stretch that has all 3 first-place teams and the Red Sox in the next 4 series after the White Sox this weekend. They go at Houston, Toronto, Detroit, at Boston before the schedule softens immensely to end the season for the Yankees with 3 of the 4 worst teams in the American League. They're the standings right now in the AL. Yankees a half game behind Boston for the top wild card in the American League. They both picked up a game on Toronto as the Jays fell last night. All right, let's go to Miami next. Marlins and Braves, totally ridiculous game last night. It was 2-2 going to the 9th inning, and then the Braves, with their second 9 spot in the last 2 weeks, end up winning 11-2. You would have never known if you just checked the scores that it was a 2-2 game going to the 9th inning. It's Wentz and Gusto here today, minus 20 on the Braves, plus 0.5 on the Fish, and a total of 8.5 down at South Beach.
Really nothing for me in this one either. That is about to start here in less than 7 minutes. I think all the numbers are right. I think the Braves should be about $1.30 on the road here, and I like that 8.5. So pass for me.
Not much to do here. Both of these pitchers are bad. They're below tier starters. Both these teams are out of it. Again, I said yesterday I thought it would be a big deal for Miami to finish in third with how big of again, how we all thought it was going to be a 1-2-3 punch, not just a 1-2 punch in the National League East. And the Braves, again, the season from hell here in 2025. All right, let's go to Cleveland next. Rays took game 1. Guardians took game 2. The losing teams in both games have scored a combined 0 runs in the first 2 games of this series. Rasmussen and Ciccone, minus 55. This has been aggressive movement in the last 20 minutes on Tampa for it's been aggressive movement over the whole day. Plus, open minus 125 on the overnights. Was pretty stable at minus 140. Now back up to minus 155 on the Rays with a total of 7 with the better pitcher.
I jumped in at minus 140 here for the Rays. I really do like this spot for them. Rasmussen has been really good over the last 6 games. He has not given up more than 2 earned runs. He's got 2 scoreless in there as well. And looking at his road starts since June here, I mean, he's got a 2.61 ERA and a 103 whip. So this Cleveland lineup has just, they've really struggled. They're batting 143 in their last 7, a 195 on base percentage, and a 2 WRC plus. So I like this spot. I think the Rays get it done once again here against this struggling Cleveland team.
Again, the teams are out of it. I'm really disappointed with Tampa with just how poorly they played post All-Star break. Guardians got back in it and now fallen back out of it. Again, this is sort of the thing, and this is why the Brewers have been really the exception, not the rule for what usually works out. Cleveland doesn't hit the ball hard.
Right.
They don't hit barrels. It just that little mini streak where they got it to 6 in the American League Central. It just, it's not sustainable more times than not when you just don't barrel up the ball and hit the ball hard. The Guardians have fallen on hard times because of that. Now a game under 500.
I will just add, too, if you are looking to play this game and you're thinking you're too late, looking at my dad's number, he has the Rays minus 195. So that was a pretty poor line, minus 125. I know you're not getting the best of it, but it's still a 40-cent difference from his line. if you do want to jump in as well.
Up next, Alex, we flip it back around. Afternoon, all the afternoon games taken care of. We now go to the nighttime, and we go to Queens, where the Mets just own the Phillies at Citi Field. Last night, boy, if you're at the first 5 under last night, you deserve better. There are no runs in the first 4 innings, and then 7 came across in the 5th to balloon that. Game ends up going over the total as well. Mets walk it off 6-5 on a Brandon Nimmo RBI single against Durin, who gave up 4 straight hits last night in the 9th inning. So the Mets looking for the 3-game sweep. Again, the only way this realistically could become a race in the National League East again was if the Mets swept this series. If the Phillies can salvage tonight with Taijuan Walker, they're still 6 up. It's going to be awfully hard for the Mets to make a legitimate comeback with being 6 down with this few to go. But 4 left against the Phillies, there's a window. I still expect the Phillies to win this division, but they have to face young Nolan McLean, who has been spectacular in his first 2 major league starts tonight, and he's a -150 favorite with a total of 8.5.
I like the Phillies at that plus price here. I just think that's just a little bit too big on the Mets, and I know they took the first 2. I think kind of playing this whole series wrong, right? It does have that playoff feel, and if you're getting a plus price with either team, I think that's the side you should be on. I like the Phillies to avoid the sweep and maybe finally get a win here. Taijuan Walker, I know we do. We give him, we think he's worse than he is, but in his last 5 starts, he's given up 3 earned runs at max. So I think he can pitch well here today. His road ERA is actually better than his home since June. It's 2.63, 1.29 whip. So I'm going to take a shot here with the Phillies at plus 135.
Citi Field has been a house of horrors for the Phillies over the last 3 years. They are now 6-23 in their last 29 at Citi Field. The Mets have won 9 in a row, including the 2 games in the playoffs a year ago against the Phillies. It just has not played well. They're not played well in New York. And again, if the Mets win, 4 will be the closest the Mets have been in 2 weeks in the National League East if they can get the win here tonight. All right, let's go to Milwaukee next. Brewers offense has been explosive in the first 2 games against Arizona in this series. Last night was a wild game where the Brewers were up 8-3. Diamondbacks came back, tied the game, and then Milwaukee walked it off in a 9-8 victory as the Brewers again extend their lead for the number 1 seed in the National League. They also extended their lead in the National League Central last night as Matthew Boyd got beat out in San Francisco last night. So 6.5 over the Cubs, 6.5 over Philadelphia for the number 1 seed in the NL as well. So Brewers, again, still on their way to having the entire Major League Baseball playoffs go through AmFam Field as we all expected even just 2 months ago, Alex. Priester and Nelson. Quinn Priester started to show the cracks over his last few starts. We were kind of waiting for this where the under-the-hood numbers didn't match the exterior numbers that we all usually look at. He's a -140 favorite today against Ryan Nelson, plus 125 on Arizona with a total of 8.5 here, Alex.
And I definitely think there is a pitching advantage here for the Diamondbacks. I do like that plus 110 price for the first 5, or it's kind of going to be a theme with these next few games coming up, but grab the half a run. It's -130 here for the Diamondbacks. I don't hate that either. I think Ryan Nelson can pitch well here, and he has struggled a little bit in his last 3 starts as well. He gave up 3 to the Reds, 4 in Colorado. We'll give him a pass for that, but 5 to Texas. But really splitting it up, looking at his home road, while he has a 5 ERA on the road, he has a 1.23 whip, but he doesn't really give up the long ball. And on the other side, Quinn Priester can. So I think they can hang around. I think he can keep them at least even here in the first 5. So maybe that first that run line is the better way to play it.
No issue with what you're doing there, Alex. Again, skittish betting against the Brewers, obviously, with everything that's gone on over the last 60 games. But again, Milwaukee in control, 6.5 up on the Cubs, 6.5 up on Philadelphia for the number 1 seed in the National League. Oh, and by the way, they have the tiebreaker over everybody except for the Cubs of the playoff teams in the National League at the current moment. 6-0 against the Dodgers this year. They swept the Phillies in Philadelphia. They took 4 out of 6 against the Mets and had the season series against San Diego as well. All right. They still have 3 left against the Padres, so they have not clinched that yet. All right, let's go to St. Louis next. Sonny Gray and Lozinski on the bump for the Pirates. Pirates had a huge first inning last night and ended up coasting to victory in an 8-3 win last night in St. Louis. Sonny Gray on the bump for the Cards, -170 tonight, total 7.5, +155 on Pittsburgh on the take-back, Alex White.
So I believe that Bubba Chandler is going to have a bulk of these innings here, and I think that he's the real deal. I think he can pitch well against this Cardinals team that has been struggling. I mean, besides that 7 that we did see from them yesterday, but I mean, batting .212 as a team in their last 7. So I think there's a little bit of value maybe going first 5 here with the Pirates. If you take the half a run, you can get +105. So that is the way I would play it. Pirates offense has been a whole lot better than we saw to start the season. So I would want to be on that side more than the Cardinals side, that's for sure, even with Sonny Gray on the bump, because we have seen some cracks from him as of late too. Older pitcher, some fatigue. We've seen it with a lot of these guys.
Assuming we see Chandler tonight, who is, again, looked at as the best prospect pitching-wise in baseball entering the season. Pirates finally brought him up. Came out of the bullpen and was electric against, it was the Rockies, but he was still electric. 4 innings, 2 hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts, and actually got a save for his work last Friday night against the Rockies at PNC Park. So we'll see. Again, his stuff is plus for, again, boy, put him in the rotation next year. Get Jared Jones back with Skeens as your number 1. Whew, got yourself a hell of a 1, 2, 3, and Keller's your 4. That's a great rotation. Be nice if the Pirates could ever get their lineup right for a full season there, Alex.
How about add a few bats in there?
Yeah, actually do something, Bob Nutting. Come on now. All right, let's go to L.A. next. Dodgers have taken the first 2 on the Reds, and the Reds, again, who have had this amazing stretch of not getting swept this year, will try to avoid being swept again. They were able to avoid it over the weekend. Now they'll try to avoid it here in Los Angeles against the NL West best. And they'll have an opportunity to do it because Shohei Ohtani still has not pitched well since coming back midseason on the mound. Nick Lodolo has been arguably the Reds' best pitcher whole season. Yes, I know Hunter Green has been their best guy, but Green did miss a month with injury. This feels like the teetering point for Cincinnati here, where they had gotten it back to a half game on the Mets. It's back to 3.5 now entering today's action. And the Mets offense, as we've talked about the last 2 weeks, has seemingly turned the corner. Their pitching hasn't quite gotten there, but it's been enough to win 2 out of their last 3 series. I just feels like this is the teetering point for Cincinnati. It's the final game of a very long West Coast swing where they won 2 out of 3 in the first series, lost 2 out of 3 in the next, and now in danger of losing 2 out of 3 and going underwater in this West Coast series, or getting swept, I should say, and really going underwater here in this West Coast series.
Makes me a little bit nervous here with Lodolo because he's missed a few games. He had a blister. Yeah. We saw what happened with Max Fried coming back from that. Did not do any rehab starts, only simulated games. So a little bit nervous, but you mentioned it. I'm not that confident in Ohtani on the bump yet. He is going deeper into games, 4 innings in his last 3, but gave up 5 to the Rockies, gave up 4 to the Angels. Those were on the road. His home starts have been better. But still, if he's only out there for 3 or 4 innings, I don't really trust the Dodgers bullpen that much. So it would only be a play on the Reds and kind of looking the same way. First 5, you're getting a good plus price, or take that half a run, getting +110 here with Cincinnati. So I think that's the way I would play it. First 5, half run, +110.
Again, this feels, like I said, this feels like the teetering point for Cincinnati. Now, the Reds, the good news for the Reds is that they come back and have 9 games at home after this series. They'll have to take advantage of the Cardinals in that first series, but then 2 playoff teams come in, the Blue Jays, and in a mammoth series against the Mets in that first weekend of September. So, again, all hope is not lost, even if the Mets win today and the Reds get swept and are 4.5 back. But it's the runway is getting narrower as the days go along. And by the way, the Reds have another West Coast swing coming up. That had another 9-game road trip. The schedule makers did not do them any favors here in the final 5 weeks of the season. All right, let's go to San Francisco next. Giants and Cubs. Giants took game 1, beat Matthew Boyd last night, so good win for San Fran. And tonight they'll throw Wisenhunt the young lefty on the mound for San Francisco. Colin Rea goes on the Cubs side. Rea is a small road favorite here, minus 125 by the Bay, and a total of 8.5 tonight, Alex.
I like the Cubs again here. I'm probably just going to go right back to it. Minus 125. I think that's a great price. Colin Rea has been very consistent. I mean, looking at his last 6 starts, or last 4, he hasn't given up more than 2. The 5th one, he did give up 4 to Milwaukee, but everybody seems to have done that as of late. His home road splits on the road, 3.41 ERA, a 1.20. I think that the Cubs can get to Weisenhunt too. He has been very good in his last 4, but the second time he sees that batting order, it seems to be a problem. We saw it with Milwaukee, and that's why he only went through 4 innings pitched there. So I think the same thing can happen here with the Cubbies. Minus 125. I really do think that's a good price. I think they should be closer to $1.50 here.
You know, for the Cubs, again, I made the argument yesterday that I thought the Cubs were alive in the NL Central. Again, it's 6.5. They have the tiebreaker on Milwaukee. Crazier things have happened in a month's time, but you really cannot be dropping Matt Boyd starts. No. You just can't be like they did a day ago. I'm with you. I like the Cubs here to bounce back tonight. Second straight night with the pitching advantage. Got to get it done against a team that is out of it. Again, the Cubs are safely in the playoffs. They're going to be in the postseason. But as we know, even though we're in year 4 now of this format, and I do understand that the first 2 years of the format, the 6th seed represented the National League in the World Series. But that's not going to be the norm. Having the bye is going to help. The Dodgers, of course, got the bye last year and went on to win the World Series. The Astros, in 2022, had a bye, went on to win the World Series. It's still going to help more times than not. All right, let's go to Baltimore. You know, I got to give the Red Sox a lot of credit, Alex, because I really thought that this would be a team that would fall off after having that great stretch going into the All-Star break. Thought it was going to be, okay, you know what? This was your fun. Reality's going to strike. But I got to give Alex Cora credit, who, if it wasn't for the amazing season, realistically speaking, of the Toronto Blue Jays at this point, because there were expectations in Detroit where, you could give it to A.J. Hinch for Manager of the Year. I think John Snyder's got to be the AL Manager of the Year if the Jays win the AL East, especially if they couple that with the 1 seed. But Alex Cora has done an absolutely incredible job with this Red Sox team that is young, does not have the greatest starting pitching, but they are getting outstanding work at their back end of the bullpen with Aroldis Chapman, who hasn't given up a run now in a month, basically. 1 run in 1 month. They're only 4 back. They're minus 135 tonight against the Orioles, going for the sweep at Camden Yards with Brian Bayo, who has pitched very well his last few times out, Alex.
I think right back to it here with the Red Sox on the road. I think that's a good price for them. You brought up Chapman, and they really didn't have to use any of their bullpen arms yesterday, so he'll be ready to go today behind Brian Bayo. I just think it's a huge pitching advantage. I also lean to the over here, so maybe Red Sox team total over. It's 4.5 minus 130. I guess you're kind of laying the juice there. Either way you want to play it, if you want to play for Boston to win or to go over that 4.5 number. So either way, but I'll definitely be on the Red Sox again here today.
And no problem with it. Run a line as well for the full game on the Sox. A possibility here. You're getting plus 10, so possibility.
Yesterday,
yeah, right. Look, I really do believe that if it wasn't for what Toronto has done with Snyder, even with, again, Detroit's great season and the chance of the number 1 seed, with trading the guy who was supposed to be your best player in May, a really bad first 2.5 months as well for the Red Sox, all things considered. And here you are with a legitimate shot to win again, 4 games is a lot at this time of the year, but a shot to win the American League East, chance to have the wild card series in your own backyard against either the Yankees or Seattle. Alex Cora has done as good of a job as anyone forget just the American League in baseball, other than Pat Murphy, who should run away and be the unanimous NL Manager of the Year yet again in Milwaukee.
I mean, I think having 3 teams right there from the AL East is the most shocking thing right now in baseball. And if it would have been 3, I imagine most people would have had the Orioles as one of the 3, and or maybe the Rays even. But
I got to go back and see what I had before the year, because it's funny. I say this about the Red Sox, and I'm adjusting from what I said. I had Boston in the World Series before the year. I did have the Red Sox there, but with everything that happened the first 2 months and the fact that you trade your best player, usually you go in the tank, and they haven't. That's part of the reason that I have Alex Cora. Like right now, I think Alex Cora, other than Schneider, should be the front runner for AL Manager of the Year. I think I had 3 from the East. I don't remember. I'm going to have to look it back. I think I might have had 2, 2, and 2 throughout the American League going into the year.
I probably had 3 in the West.
Yeah, I think it was Houston, Texas, Yankees, Boston, and I had Kansas City and Detroit, I'm pretty sure, but I'll have to double check that. Go back through my text messages. I know I've sent that at least off of 5 or 6 times. All right, let's go to Toronto next. Jays, after a bombardment 2 days ago of the Joe Ryan start, they fall yesterday 7-5 north of the border. A disastrous ninth inning does them in. Now they go for the series win against the Twins, minus 180 tonight with Eric Lauer. Simeon Woods Richardson, who was in the Blue Jays organization, is part of the Jose Barrios trade, plus 160 tonight in a total of 9, Alex.
And he's been out for a while.
Yeah.
I think almost a month here, but he did do 2 rehab starts in AAA, 3 1/3 innings through 64 pitches. So probably won't see a whole lot of him today in this one. I'm not going to do anything. I would lean to the Blue Jays getting it done here and getting this series, but it's a pass for me. I want to see what we get from Simeon Woods Richardson coming back, because there was a time where we were backing him often, and he was definitely pitching very well. And he was out not because of an injury; it was more internal. So I think he'll be fine.
So
don't really have to worry about his arm or anything.
You know, it's interesting with Toronto real quick, because we've talked about where I brought up, I don't trust their starters long term. It's part of the reason that I like the Tigers much more in the American League of the top 2 teams right now. And by the way, we'll get to the Astros in a second. I wish I had the fortitude yesterday on the Rockies, because I thought the price was good. I just didn't have the stones when it's all said and done. But I just am very curious, just when it's all said and done for the Jays, does the pitching do them in? The teams without a bona fide ace scare me, and Toronto doesn't really have a bona fide ace. They just have a bunch of guys who are all pretty similar, and Gosman and Bassett. Yeah. Lauer's pitched well since going into the rotation. Barrios as well. But there you go today, minus 180 on Toronto.
Yeah,
all right.
The Tigers don't have to face the Athletics in the playoffs, so they should be okay.
Yeah, what's going on with them? We'll get to them a little bit later as well. All right, let's go to Chicago. Savali and Bergert, your pitching matchup here on the south side, as the Royals come from behind yesterday and win 5-4. Boy, it would have been a bad way to go if you lost the first 2 when you're still trying to stay in the hunt here. We've talked about Bergert. Bergert's pitched a lot better than I think the market's given him credit for this year.
Yep.
And the Royals are minus 125 here today with a total of 8.5.
125. I love that price here on the Royals, even though they are on the road, trying to take 2 of 3 from the White Sox here. And you're right, Jeff. I mean, looking at his road starts, 2.68 ERA, but a sub-1 WHIP, a 0.95 since June on the road. So I think he'll pitch well here against the White Sox.
I'm with you. Would only be Kansas City here today on minus 125. All right, let's go to arguably the worst pitching matchup of the day in Texas. Kohanowitz and Latz, your pitching matchup down at Arlington. Rangers minus 155, total 9. This line really has not moved at all. So I guess my disinterest in the game is included with the bettors here on this one, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, it would only be an over for me. You brought it up. Both pitchers really have struggled, and we've been fading Kochanowicz, and now he's back up again. So it was either a Rangers team total, because, of course, they win on Patrick Corbin Day, but lose when Jacob deGrom's on the bump. So, I think we're just going to get runs, both sides. 4.5 for the Rangers, minus 135. I like that, and I think we're okay going over 9 full game.
Up next, Alex, you mentioned it before. Tigers, not a good first 2 games in Sacramento. Last night, it was the walk-off walk in extra innings to get the Athletics the victory. Game did also get over, which was good. Casey Mize against Morales here today. Total 10.5. Tigers try to salvage this one, -125 here tonight.
I like Casey Mize. I think he can help them do that here, and I think that's a cheap price on them as well to avoid the sweep. So, it would only be Tigers for me. I know we've talked about this ballpark and not laying the 1.5, so I think you just stay away from that altogether and just get Tigers to get the win at that cheap price.
Up next, Alex will hit the last two interleague games, and we go to Seattle, and Brian Wu looks to continue his season of going at least 6 innings every single start he's gone. He's the only one in baseball to do it, and it's been since Greg Maddux that we've seen a guy be able to do what he's done with the length. He's -135, +120 on Yu Darvish and the Padres. This is a rubber match. Padres took the game last night up in Seattle.
Yes, they did. It was a good game, too. Over got there pretty easily. I'm tempted to go right back to it, even though we know this ballpark is a pitcher's park. But I think the Mariners is the right side here. I do trust Brian Wu. Looking at his last 5 starts, I mean, he gave up 5 starts ago, and that was in Sacramento. And then it's just been 1 earned run. And like you mentioned, 6 or 7 innings pitched for him. He did give up 3 against Tampa Bay at home. But, I mean, even if he can do that here today, I think Yu Darvish can get hit up by the Mariners. So it would be Seattle or nothing for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. This would be a Seattle play, the only way I'd look to do it. I also don't mind the over as well. With the way that the Mariners have been priced in the market recently on the totals, just not been what it's been the last 2 weeks. They've been playing a lot of over games. Yeah, they had the 2 games against the A's that went under, but all the Phillies series went over, 2 of 3 in the Mets series went over, and now the first 2 against San Diego have gone over as well with the Mariners. All right, last one on the board. Man, I really wish I had the fortitude to take Colorado yesterday. They beat Hunter Brown.
Yes.
Beat Hunter Brown. They only need 2 more wins to get to 40, which is the magic number for the midseason win total. Dollander and Framber. Boy, this is, again... the market's betting Colorado from +270 to +250. It's still a $3 line on Houston, total of 8. I mean, really, are the Rockies really going to win 2 straight against Houston here with Houston's 2 best pitchers? Probably not, but that's a juicy price on Colorado's best arm here today.
It is, but it is Chase Dollander on the other side. So as bad as Houston has struggled offensively, they should be able to put up a few runs here. I've really got nothing, though. Love Framber Valdez, especially at home. He's just been fantastic, but I can't do anything in that one. But you did bring up the Mariners and them hitting, and I did want to bring up the parlayable player props because
those are
we do have Cal Raleigh on here, of course, to hit a home run +225. And then it's funny, Corey Seager made the list +275. So if you want to check it out here at the South Point. But those are 2 games I liked over, and 2 guys I wouldn't mind backing tonight. The
red and black sheet at the top, if you want it, here today at the South Point. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, super excited to have this guy on the show for the first time. Colby Dant, SGPN's own, one of the best when it comes to talking college sports from a betting perspective and really just any perspective. Joins us next, Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is smoke and fire. This is high stakes and wild cards. This is family and tradition. This is everything on the line. This is it. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas. The South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now. LVMS.com.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. Or maybe you're in the mood for seafood. Big Sur Oyster Bar has fresh seafood prepared right before your eyes. Savor freshly shucked oysters, crab legs jambalaya, shrimp and lobster. Beers on tap and a selection of fine wines are perfect to pair with your seafood favorite. Whether lunch or dinner, you'll love this fun atmosphere, located just off the casino floor. Ready to shake things up? Step back in time and treat yourself to one of the oldest restaurant chains in the country. Steak and Shake, famous for original mouth-watering steak burgers and hand-dipped milkshakes in a variety of flavors. For some old-fashioned fun, try Steak and Shake.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book. Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
We don't make stuff up here.
I would only play the Pirates team total going under.
What the hell happened to Minnesota's pitching?
This total is really crashed without plumbing the lineup.
I think this number's too high, but they're laying me the 6.
Oh, I know.
Caitlin Clark drives handle on the WNBA.
Never mind all these Mickey Mouse other stations. We are giving you hands-on information.
Welcome back in. It's Sports by the Book here at the South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White. And now joining us, SGPN's The College Experience. One of the hosts, our good friend Colby Dan, joins us right now. Him and Moneyline, Mac, do a great job. Colby, I said to Alex when we were talking about your show off the air, the most thorough college sports show on the market when it comes to sports betting, and we are thrilled to have you here today.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. And look, I'll send you the Christmas card now that you said that. Appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely. I expect a high noon as well with the Christmas card there, Colby. So, all right, buddy, we're going to start macro and we'll work our way into games here week 1. Let's start with the big boys, though. Let's start with the SEC. And, you know, Colby, I went game by game this year, and I didn't expect this. I had Georgia at 12-0, which kind of stunned me, where, again, difficult schedule, but all those tough road games they have at home this year, they don't have to go to Austin. They don't have to go to Tuscaloosa. They do have to play Georgia Tech, but that game's at Mercedes-Benz as opposed to Bobby Dodd, which makes that a very different environment. Georgia's got a high win total. They're the second favorite in the conference behind Texas. What are your thoughts on the Dogs here going into the year?
Yeah, no, I have them favored in all 12 games as well. And look, you heard Kirby Smart. Remember last year when they went to Texas and smacked Texas in Austin in the regular season? I remember that post-game press conference just saying, well, Greg said he's putting us everywhere. He's putting us everywhere. We're road warriors. Well, great politicking because they have 3 road games and not against great competition within the SEC. I guess Auburn's the wild card, but I can't think of any other Power 5 team that plays just 3 road games because remember the cocktail party is a neutral site game, and then obviously what they did with the Georgia Tech thing. I don't know what Georgia Tech's thinking. I think that game could potentially keep them out of the playoffs because that would be a Georgia crowd. You saw the team kind of celebrate in a way. I don't know if celebrate's the right word, but they looked more excited to play after Carson Beck was not there. And you've seen this before with Kirby Smart. They had this 5-star named JT Daniels who was 6-0 as a starter, a lot of hype. He got injured, and Stetson Bennett. Who? Stetson Bennett, right? Some guy, a 0-star recruit, came in, and they won a national championship or 2. So I'm with you, man. Even if they were to lose one, which I think it would probably be the Alabama game if they were to lose one, but I got them favored in all 12 games, and to me, I think they have one of the better schedules within the SEC. I know that, that's still a challenging schedule to a certain extent. but it's not one of the harder ones in the SEC. I'll tell you that. So I got them playing Alabama in a rematch in the SEC championship. I have them beating Bama in the regular season, and then I have Bama getting the best of them in Atlanta. Again, not really an away game.
Colby, we just had the conference odds up right there, and we had the win totals before that. So, I mean, if you like Georgia going undefeated, you probably like their win total over. Is there a team in the SEC that you are you like to go under in their win total?
Yeah, I love the under on the Florida Gators. I'm just not a big Billy Napier guy. At Louisiana, he was able to benefit from a program. Now, he upped the recruiting some because his Saban ties and stuff, but the Sun Belt West was incredibly down. And if you look at those what he did at Louisiana, they were winning barely against a lot of bad competition those years. So I was a little weary of the hire from the start. I know last year he did, to his credit, quarterback injuries, other injuries, and they kind of came up and had a good year. But I think some of that was also the schedule wasn't as daunting as we thought. Florida State ended up being a 2-win team. UCF was a terrible team. We thought that would be a tough game. So now you enter in DJ Lagway, who's been injured, I feel like, throughout his high school and college career every couple weeks. But he's only played one true road game, and that was against a 2-win Florida State team that was half empty. You had fans reading novels on the sidelines there. So, I don't know what to put in, how much weight to put into his road success. And then to me, the schedule, I have it as the hardest schedule in the nation, them in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. So and those places he's got to play early on, they will be lit environments. Miami doesn't normally have a lit environment, but for an in-conference game, in-state game, not in conference, that place will be ready, I think. And also, he's got to play at A&M. He's got to play at LSU. There's just too much meat on the bone for a guy that's already been dinged up. And then I think this year's schedule is actually harder than last year's. You look at the other games they got too, man. They got to go to Ole Miss, and that's a revenge game and then Kirby Smart owns them. I just can't get there. Florida State will obviously be better this year. I don't know how much better, but they'll be better. I think they'll be at least a bowl team. So I like taking the under on the Gators here.
Well, and also too, Colby, just bring up their schedule. This would have been the year where Tennessee and Florida is always at the end of September. And this year, they decided to put that game on November 22nd. Oh, your reward, instead of getting Tennessee at home in a year where I think Tennessee might be down a little bit, you got to go to Baton Rouge on September 13th. Yeah, good luck with that for Florida. Again, I'm with you. I like the Gators under. Another team that is seemingly, to me, based off of a really great season last year, is a little bit overvalued as well, also by the pollsters, is South Carolina. Now, Colby, I'm not going to doubt Lenora Sellers' talent. The kid is amazing. He could very easily, if Arch Manning stays at Texas one more year, end up being the first pick in the 2026 NFL draft. But South Carolina's schedule is brutal. And Colby, I thought they got a lot of breaks last year. I actually liked them under 7.5, even with, again, Sellers potentially being better than he was a year ago.
We're seeing eye to eye here. Those are the two that really stand out to me on the under. So when she asked me that question, I was like, which one do I go with in my head? But that I am right there with South Carolina. They got five defensive players drafted, a sixth that's currently on an NFL roster. So, I mean, they don't normally have that type of defensive production. And I'm with you last year, once he got it rolling, they were pretty good. But I remember Old Dominion, outgaining them and kind of sticking it to them. And then they fumbled inside their own 10-yard line with about 4 minutes left. And South Carolina was able to benefit off that. So I'm with you, too. And there's a sophomore slump. And this is something new that we're going to have to factor into our handicapping, I think, too, is Lenora Sellers was pretty outspoken about how much money he got paid in the offseason at South Carolina. Well, you have the sophomore slump was a thing back in the day, but now you add in the fact that you're making ridiculous money. I just wonder, if that gets to you a little bit. So I'm with you. The schedule's much harder this year. I even like, I think the Hokies might give them a game, opening Sunday there at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So I'm with you. Those are the best two unders to me on the board in the SEC.
Kobe, I missed an opportunity there because well, first of all, I said Georgia undefeated, but you have Bama beating Georgia in the regular season and then the rematch, or repeat that again?
No, I have Georgia getting them in the regular season. I have Bama getting them in the rematch in the SEC championship.
Okay, I want to ask you about Bama and Kalen DeBoer specifically, because everybody talks about his record, 113-16, and he just wins. Does it mean anything to you that he's spent 2 years at each stop? And at that time, it was all about recruiting, and you kind of had other guys' players. So you're pretty high on DeBoer. You think he'll do well here. And what do you think about Ty Simpson?
Yeah, Ty Simpson, I think he fits his style a little bit more. Like, one of the reasons, there's a few reasons, I think, why Alabama like Alabama fans, some of them, the ridiculous ones, wanted him gone. And I think a little bit is this. First off, I've never met Nick Saban, but I have interviewed Kalen DeBoer, and I do, from what I get from Saban on television, their personalities are pretty far apart. So like the culture difference from a Saban coach team to a DeBoer team, I do believe there's a big gap. You have that, and then you add in the fact that Jalen Milroe just really doesn't fit his style of offense. You look at the quarterbacks he's had, Michael Penix and Jake Haener, they're more the traditional drop back passers. I know Penix has got little wheels to mobile, run around, but they didn't really run him a lot. Where I think Simpson or Austin Mack, the backup that came over from Washington with him, they kind of fit what he likes to do a little bit more. And another thing is he was without Ryan Grubb, who had been with him since his Sioux Falls days and Eastern Michigan days and Fresno State days, and Washington. Obviously, he was the OC of the team that took him to the national championship. He was in Alabama for like a week. Then the Seahawks hired him as offensive coordinator in the NFL. So they didn't have him. I think that was a big part of the reason why they, quote unquote, had a disappointing year, even though they were 9-3. I think he's a fantastic coach, though. And I do buy into him being cutting edge. I think the thing is that I would notice most is what he did at Fresno, what he did at Washington, what he did, if you paid attention to what he did at Indiana and Eastern Michigan even. I know you can look at Sioux Falls. The record's fantastic. But those ones, they were like the best years they had, with the exception of obviously Cignetti this past year at Indiana. So I think there's something there that he knows what the heck he's doing, and I expect him to be a lot better this year. I think they might have about 10 guys that maybe 11 guys that could get drafted next April in the NFL draft.
Again, they're always loaded with talent, and again, I think Grubb really will make a difference down there in T-Town. All right, let's go to the Big Ten. Colby, it's a three-headed monster at the top. It's everyone looks at Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon in some sort of order. I have Penn State power rated as my number one team, and they are my preseason national championship pick, which scares the living daylights out of me that's the case. But Colby, what do you think of those top three? Again, you see here the odds at the South Point. Ohio State, the slightest of favorites at 2-1. Penn State at +210, and then Oregon coming in at 3-1 to win the Big Ten.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. I have Penn State power ranked number 1 too, but I'm still terrified. I mean, as someone that's bet that Penn State-Ohio State game on Penn State's side many times. I mean, how many times in the third or fourth quarter have we had like a 10-point lead and lost? But they deserve to be, to me, the favorite. Penn State does. Just because you got to like the fact they bring in Jim Knowles. Jim Knowles and Day apparently clashed, from what I understand, and that goes, I think, further than just the Michigan losses. I think they've been at odds for a little bit, from what I understand from people telling me that cover the Buckeyes. So, but he's also going to know exactly what he likes to do, and I think that's an advantage Penn State's needed for a while. We'll see. Franklin does get a little conservative sometimes, and I am a little weary, but they'll be in the playoffs. Like I'm a little weary on them. I think they'll get in the Big Ten championship because I think everyone else is kind of reloading. I'm out on Oregon. I don't think Oregon. I mean, would it shock me if Oregon made the Big Ten championship? No, but I'll take the under, just because Dante Moore's a guy that's never really proven it to me. They lost Evan Stewart, their star wideout for the season, torn ACL, if memory serves me correct. That was a huge hit. And then, the defense and offense lost key players to the NFL draft, where I think they're still I know they're talented coming up next, but I don't know if they're that talented and that ready for that. So I'm out on them. I actually think the under's the play on Oregon's win total there. They got to go to what? Iowa City and Penn State and Washington, who's been at that. They haven't been able to win at Washington under Lanning. So, yeah, right there. I think that's 3 losses right there. And then you add in the fact that USC plays up there. I think USC is going to be pretty improved. When I did this, my exercise going through this thing, I actually really struggled. I think we might have talked about this. Was like I had like a 4-way tie for like the second spot to get to the Big Ten championship. And with these ridiculous conferences these days, where there's 20 teams or 18 teams, I was trying to look up the bylaws, and I mean, they switch it yearly too. One of the I forget, I think it was the Big 12. They changed it mid-season, so I don't even know if it's worth looking up the bylaws because they might not even be using it because it's last year's edition. So I had it. Like, you need to know that if you're going to place a big amount of money on this, because I'm sitting there looking, I'm thinking Iowa could get there. I'm thinking Iowa could get there because of Gronowski coming at the quarterback spot. But if they're points for against points against, that might burn them. So we need to know these bylaws. Makes for a fascinating season, but just too many teams in the conference at the same time.
Colby, obviously you just might have tipped your hand there on the mid-tier. I guess you're the first person that I've heard like Iowa going into this year. And look, it's a very different animal for the Hawkeyes, because this is the first time in, we're talking maybe 10 years, where you look at the quarterback position and it's not looked at as a perceived negative coming into the year.
Yeah, I host an FCS show, and like we were all over Cam Ward when Washington State got him. Gronowski is a playmaker, man, and it's not going to be pretty. Now, it's not like Cam Ward's a lot, I would say it's a little bit more prettier to watch Cam Ward's game, but Gronowski, he's got a little bit of like that Diego Pavia to him, where he will run you over to get a first down. And then at the same time, he's won two national championships in the FCS level. He's probably the best quarterback that Iowa's had in a long time. I mean, so I was thinking right off the top of my head, I was like Brad Banks or Drew Tate or something like that. Like, and you put him behind that offense. That I've always wondered why Ferentz didn't just get a mobile quarterback, because the defense is going to be rock solid. Your tight ends are going to be awesome. Right? Your special teams will probably be the best in the nation yet again. They always have great punters, always have great kickers, always great kick coverage. So, and one of the things I love is they have one of the more experienced quarterbacks, which I think has kind of been a trend in these new college football playoffs over the past couple of years for the most part. And then you host your biggest games at home. Like, your biggest games are not on the road. Kinnick is a house of horrors. I think that's one of the hardest places to win in all of college football. So you got Penn State and Oregon having to go there. Look, they might split, but I guarantee they're getting somebody, if not both of them.
Colby, I'm intrigued because when I did this exercise as well, I had a bunch of 8-1 teams. And if Penn State does finally get it done and beat Oregon and Ohio State and make it there, but if Oregon loses to Penn State, so that was going through my mind, they might not make the conference championship game. Is there a chance they miss the playoffs? And then I'm imagining there's got to be a pretty good plus price for Oregon to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't have them in my playoffs. I mean, so I would definitely look into that. But, it is tricky because you're sitting there trying to pinpoint these games, and one injury here or there could be all the difference. But I don't have them in my playoffs. And if you can find odds on that, I haven't seen that actually. I probably should have looked for that. But I don't have them making the playoffs. To me, I have Ohio State, Penn State, and then I have whoever plays in the Big 10 championship against them, because I don't have Ohio State playing Penn State. I think that tiebreaker will be the difference. And then one of those, I personally have Penn State winning that, playing in the Big 10 championship. But so Ohio State making it almost like what they did last year.
Yeah.
So. To me, buy stock and sell in Oregon. To me, USC, Iowa, those are teams you want to jump on. I even think Washington's got a shot. Once again, the tiebreaker scenarios are going to be bonkers, because that's what took me off of Iowa, essentially. Like, I like Iowa to get potentially to the Big Ten championship, but if it's points difference, because Iowa, they win like 17-13. So you're just like, ugh. Well, let me look at USC then, and I am bullish on USC. So I think USC might be the better play if you're looking to find that dark shot there. Nebraska is another one that I think the schedule aligns. I don't love their team, but the schedule aligns almost the same vein as Indiana last year.
So again, the tiebreakers, head-to-head results. This is as of now, and as you mentioned, possibly subject to change for the Big Ten. Head-to-head results, record versus common opponent, opponent's record, Sports Source Analytics ranking, great, and then random draw, which actually might be better than the Sports Source Analytics ranking, in all honesty, at that point. Very random. Colby, I want to move us along to this weekend. And I actually am going to start with a Big Ten team because this is one of the more interesting games tomorrow night in Kansas City. Nebraska, who has this just softball schedule this year, opens the year with an interesting non-con game against the Cincinnati team that I've said this on this network for 2 years now. I hate Scott Satterfield as a coach. I did not like what he did at Louisville. The Louisville fan base was applauding that he left. And I've not liked what he's done at Cincinnati. For Nebraska in a year where, Colby, I understand, I would love to have seen the 6 again, but it's 6.5 right now. I don't think you could have picked a better Power 4 opponent to start your season off if you're Nebraska, even with a competent quarterback and Sorsby back in Cincinnati this upcoming year.
Well, and the fact it's in Arrowhead. I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing that really is scary to me. We know, GBR Nation there, go Big Red.
Yeah.
They will pack that thing. They will pack, like, I don't know how many Cincinnati fans will be there, frankly. Like, this is pretty much an away game, if I had to guess. But I actually ended up taking the points here just because I am unsure of Nebraska's defense. I think Cincinnati will lose the game because that's Scott, the part of the frustration, I think, from Cincinnati fans is that they're in every game.
Yeah.
Every single game, I feel like, I remember that Pitt game. They blew like a 24-point lead last year, right? They've been in all these games. They just can't win them. Down the stretch, they make dumb plays, and that's been part of the frustration with Satterfield, I would say, from the Cincinnati perspective. I like Sorsby, and with Nebraska's uncertainty, you remember they lost Tony White, their defensive coordinator, to Florida State. He brought a few guys with him. That's where I'm a little weary. I know Matt Rule's background is defense, but I still look at that. I'm like, yeah, this guy would have started for you guys. That's a big loss. So I think Sorsby is going to be able to move the ball there. But really, what I like about Nebraska this season is in Holgerson's full on season. You remember he was hired in November to be with Dylan Raiola. I think that is a big difference maker. I think Nebraska wins the game, but I got 7 at 6.5. Maybe you could sway me, but to me, 7 points in Cincinnati, I think they'll be able to score points. I actually think the over is the best play on the board, actually. I think the over, what is it? I think it's like 51 and a half.
Yep.
I think that's probably the smartest play because Nebraska's defense, I don't think, is the strong point this year. And Cincinnati's, lost a ton of games, but they can score some points. Sorsby's not a bad quarterback.
Let's go to the big game Saturday morning. I have not touched this game. Don't really plan to. I thought all the numbers were right when they came out. Ohio State, now here at the South Point, they're a 2-point favorite. Pretty much 1.5 everywhere else, but open 3 at most spots, mostly just that home field, right? And then the total has been bet down now at 48. Do you like anything in this game, and who do you think comes out as a winner?
Yeah, I'm just going to trust young quarterbacks that haven't played on the road to fail. I'm sure Arch will be great long term, right? And maybe long term is in 2 weeks. But you're going to one of the hardest venues to win. I mean, unless you're Michigan, I can't even think. Oregon, I think, 1 year? Oregon got them there once. But they haven't lost much over the past decade at the shoe, other than Jim Harbaugh's Michigan teams and Sharon Moore's. But especially when you factor in he started 2 games, and those were against ULM and Mississippi State. And the ULM game, he didn't actually play that good. The Mississippi State game, he looked the part. But you're asking a lot to go up there to the reigning national champs who has maybe the best defensive player in the nation in Caleb Downs. It's just asking a lot from me. Another thing I don't like is Steve Sarkisian in big games for the most part. I think he's one of the more overrated coaches in the country. When I see these lists that have him in the top 5 and top 10, thought they should have lost to Arizona State last year in the playoffs. So he's got to prove it to me. To me, he's had one great performance, and that was that win at Bama a few years back. I need to see it because to me, I know Ohio State's challenged a little bit offensively with Sayin because they didn't name him a starter until late, which has me a little concerned. But they still got guys. It's Ohio State. To me, they're in the same spot to me offensively as maybe Texas is, if not, because Texas loses 4 or 5 on the O-line, receiver position hit a little bit. I'm going to trust the home crowd. That's the play there, is to me, just give me Ohio State minus the points.
Yeah, I can't really argue with you on anything you just said, and do agree with you on the lateness of saying getting named the starter. I thought it was his job fully the whole way, and the fact that it was named last week, a little bit concerning. But when you have Jeremiah Smith, the quarterback may not matter as much when you're throwing at that dude. All right, Colby, one last game we're going to ask you about, and then we'll let you go here, because I told you this in the little pre-interview, and we're going to keep it in the state of Texas. Of course, one of Texas's biggest rivals, A&M, now that they're playing each other again, both in the SEC. I am high on the Aggies going into the year. I think Marcel Reed is going to have a big year. But they play UTSA week 1, and for the life of me, Colby, I am floored at the way this game has been bet, where UTSA is looked at as one of the better teams in the American going into the year. This game opened 3 touchdowns and has only been bet up until this morning. It got all the way to 24.5, now back to 24 here at the South Point. Colby, I think this is way too many points with the Roadrunners. I'm not saying A&M won't win the game comfortably, but geez, we're getting 3.5 touchdowns here with a team that could very easily win the American when it's all said and done this year.
Yeah, I have both these teams. When I fit up my playoff bracket on Sports Gambling Podcast, I had both these teams in the playoffs. The UTSA was my representative from the group of 5. My problem is first off, that line has jumped. I got this thing at 21 and maybe 21.5, I think it was. But I think it's a bad spot as far as timing. UTSA, I do like them, bringing back McCown, who's a good quarterback, really one of the better group of 5 quarterbacks, and bringing back so much production with them, and then adding some nice pieces from the Power 5 level in the portal. But at the same time, the way A&M ended their season to me is why I think there's value on perhaps laying the points with A&M. They were in position to make the playoffs, and they kind of sputtered down the stretch. And then, one of the things that really blew my mind last year, because I liked them last year as well, I think Elko's a really good coach, was how bad the defense was. There is no way to me that I've seen Mike Elko. I've covered this guy since he was in the FCS. I would be shocked if the defense is that bad this year. I think that's the biggest change you're going to see on this team. And another year of Marcel Reed with Colin Klein. I love his creative run packages. For that reason alone, I think you might have value in taking the points, because they're not going to be throwing the ball all over the field. I think you're going to see some quarterback powers, stuff like that. They have maybe the best offensive line in the country, so the clock will be running. But at the end of the day, I just think it's the bad spot to play. Like, if this game was week 3, I think I would be all over UTSA in the points. But I think the way you ended your season a year ago with all those losses in a row, and then the way the defensive performances were for them, they were terrible in pass defense. So, I think it's been a big point of emphasis in the offseason. So I'm actually laying that number.
All right.
I don't love it. Because of the moving up to 24, and the clock running. But I just think it's a bad spot for when you're getting A&M. So yeah, I'm on the Aggies.
He's Colby Dant. Get him on the tweets at the Colby D. The college experience. You guys are streaming through your Twitter account every single day. The most recent preview up, the Monroe Warhawks. So be on the lookout. All the teams previewed, FCS, FBS. Colby and Ryan McIntyre doing a tremendous job over at SGPN. Colby, it was a pleasure to have you on this morning. Thanks for being with us today, and enjoy the first full week of the college football season, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure. Best time of year. And don't forget East Carolina. Let's take them tomorrow. Now, I am a grad. Or I am not a grad, actually. I'm a former Pirate. I put it like that. But cheers and a happy season, guys.
Absolutely. Colby Dant, everyone. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, the whiteboard, the trivia question answer, and we wrap it up here on a Wednesday morning. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas, the South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the Book. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
We don't make stuff up here.
I would only play the Pirates team total going under.
What the hell happened to Minnesota's pitching?
This total has really crashed without plumbing the lineup.
I think this number's too high, but they're landing me the 6.
Oh, I know.
Caitlin Clark drives handle on the WNBA.
Never mind all these Mickey Mouse other stations. We are giving you hands-on information.
Welcome back in. It's Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White. We'll get Alex's whiteboard in a moment here. Big thanks to our guy Colby Dant for hanging out with us here this morning. Tomorrow on the show, the Ageless Wonder himself, Bruce Marshall, will join us. We'll get his picks for week 1 in the college football season. Looking forward to that. Of course, also our own Football Frenzy show at noon on Fridays. Myself, Alex White, Vinny Maliulo, Chris Andrews. Noon every Friday here on Sports by the Book, and also to the Rushmore 4. Be on the lookout for that coming soon with the city of Pittsburgh will be the first one up. Again, Chris Andrews, Pittsburgh zone. So we'll have that coming your way next week. All right, trivia time. For the first time in tournament history, a night match was played at the U.S. Open 50 years ago today on this date in 1975. Name the player in the match who has multiple tennis major wins in their career. So one who's won multiple majors. So there you go. For the first time under the lights at the U.S. Open, it was Uni Perun against Stan Smith, which Stan Smith is the answer. There you go. Smith, of course, won the U.S. Open in 71 and Wimbledon in 72. Had a popular line of Adidas shoes that is still going today. So there you go. There's the first match there in Flushing Meadows at the U.S. Open in 1975. Pretty amazing that it took that long, since baseball had night games well before that. Surprising that it took that long to get lights over in Queens. JR gets back on the board. Of course, Nick has already clinched the month, but JR back on the board here today on the final Wednesday of the month of August here in 2025.
2 more days, yeah. And so we'll have 2 more trivias, and then we start fresh next week.
Start fresh on Labor Day. We'll be here on Monday. Of course, big college football game, and the NFL will only be 3 days away at that point here on Monday on Labor Day. All right, you ready?
Is that a big one? Is there a special reason for North Carolina being a big game on Monday?
It's Belichick's first game. I mean, again, we don't think either. I don't think either of those teams will be particularly good. I know you're higher on TCU going into the year than I am.
I think it could be a good bounce back spot for TCU. But
again, it's Belichick's first game. I mean, everyone's got an opinion on Billy B and Jordan Hudson and everyone over at Chapel Hill this year. All right, Alex, you ready to go here for the whiteboard on a Wednesday?
A lot of picks.
A lot of picks here for Alex on Wednesday's whiteboard on the 27th of August.
So these first 2, though, I am just going to make them half a unit each. And I'm going to take a shot with the Phillies, getting that plus price here with Taijuan Walker on the bump, trying to avoid the sweep, trying to get the first win out of 10 there against the Mets. I'm also going to hedge a little bit. I'm going to go over 8.5. So I'm not going to parlay them. I'm going to do 2 separate half, because I think if the Mets win, it's going to be a high-scoring game, and they're going to actually get to Walker there. I'm going with the Cubbies again, minus 125. I think that's just a good price for them with Colin Rea on the bump, even though they are on the road. I'm going Red Sox team total. We're going over 4.5 there. That lineup's been great. Angels, Rangers over 9. 2 weaker pitchers, and both lineups have been hitting as well. And then I'm going to go Tigers minus 125, avoiding the sweep against the Athletics with Casey Mize.
Tigers and Phillies both trying to avoid sweeps. Cubs trying to get back on the board in their series against San Francisco later today. All right, that's what we got for you here on a Wednesday edition. Again, tomorrow we're back at 10 a.m. It'll be myself, Alex, Bruce Marshall will join us right out of the gate tomorrow. We'll talk college football and NFL with Bruce. Looking forward to that. Maybe even Bruce will throw us an EPL pick tomorrow. Maybe he'll even throw us a week 2 of the EPL pick, or week 3, I should say, actually, already for the English Premier League across the pond. She's Alex. I'm Jeff. Big shout out to the crew as always. Ryan, Jerry, Vince, and Drew Dog, Sean. Thank you all as always. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place, 10 a.m. Pacific, right here at the South Point Studio. This has been Sports by the Book live at the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada.